I want to talk about one of my favorite proverbs or idioms, which is out of sight, out of mind. This proverb has many different versions of its meaning. The main meaning of the proverb, out of sight, out of mind, is once something or someone is no longer in your daily life and you don't see it or them anymore, they will soon be forgotten or out of mind. This proverb can be related to just about everyone and anyone. We have all had instances in our lives where we no longer see or talk to someone from school, work, or anywhere else who we no longer think about, and that person becomes out of sight and out of mind rather quickly. Just think about all of the kids you went to elementary school with, and how many of them you speak to now. I know for me, it's only one, and it's on occasion, and I have forgotten most of the other kids that I went to school with. There was a man at the age of 19 in the year 1901 who was accused of burglary but was mentally incompetent, and he was put into a maximum security institution, the Matawin State Hospital. 64 years later, in the year 1965, a study was done on the hospital and he was still a patient. This man really became out of sight and out of mind. He was still waiting to be charged criminally in the court of law, but he was essentially lost and forgotten in the system. So you can now see how the proverb out of sight, out of mind can work with people, but it works on a much bigger scale of everything. Anything can be out of sight, out of mind, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening or it's not right in front of you. I want you to look at this picture. I think it defines out of sight, out of mind pretty well, and everyone can relate to it. You see a young boy lifting up the ocean water like it's a rug. Under that rug are bottles and garbage, which is a growing problem in our everyday lives. You never really know where your garbage ends up, and a lot of it, unfortunately, ends up in the oceans. Your garbage is usually out of sight, out of mind, as soon as it leaves your house in the garbage truck. Then you can be looking right at the ocean, and that garbage that is there is out of sight, out of mind, because it's on the bottom of the ocean, and you can't see it. Another example of out of sight, out of mind would be Predator drone strikes, which are unmanned area visual UAV drone planes that can carry missiles. When was the last time you thought about a Predator drone strike? Probably not very recently, right? In Pakistan, in the last 10 years, over 3,000 people have been killed by these strikes. Of those 3,000 people, 175 were children, and only 50 were real confirmed high-profile targets. Predator drone attacks and deaths were out of sight and out of mind for me until I started looking up the war in the Middle East. This is an extreme example, but really shows how anything can be out of sight, out of mind. It won't take you very long to come up with an example of your own of something that is out of sight, out of mind.